Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, welcome you to the online class of Niyash Muhammad High School. I'm Samina Fatima, Assistant Teacher, Niyash Muhammad High School. My today's class is for the students of Class 8. And today, for the students of Class 8, I'm going to talk about something which has created a new civilization. I'm sure you are guessing now about some science fiction story or something which is quite relevant to science. If you are thinking so, then have a look on these pictures. What can you see? I'm sure you all can see some circular objects. These all objects are the same in different style or in different shape or in different colors, but this circular object is known as wheel. Exactly. Today we are going to talk about this wheel and the history of this wheel. Which means today we are going to read English first paper, and from English first paper we are going to discuss Unit 9, which title is Things That Have Changed Our Life. And from this unit I am going to talk about Lesson 1, which title is The Wheel, and Lesson 2, which deals with the history of the wheel. Before starting our main discussion, what you have to do is you have to focus on these key words. Let's check the keywords. Invented, civilization, inventions, circular, equipment, modern, pioneers, chariots, improvement, etc. Okay. And now what you have to do is you have to open page number 105. Okay, it means 105. I'm sure you all have opened the page now. Now I'm going to read out the exact passage. And for this page number, what you have to do is you have to open the main textbook. Okay, the main textbook. You must follow the main textbook. Let's start. Human beings have invented many important things so far. They have brought great civilization to the world through these inventions. It means the passage is dealing with the idea of science and the inventions that have created a new and modern civilization, a new nation, a modern nation. Okay. Do you know which invention is the greatest? Now there is a question whether we know the greatest invention. And the answer is it's the wheel. It is said that the wheel is the greatest invention to create our modern civilization or the modern world. A wheel is a circular object. Now there is the introduction of wheel. And a wheel is a circular object or round-shaped object. It can rotate around its axis and help easy movement of things across a surface. Now it is written how a wheel can work. The wheels are in fact everywhere. Now there is the uses of these wheels. They are on our cars, trains, planes, wagons, and so on. Besides, they are on most factory and farm equipment. Fans, turbines are also other type of wheels. Now there are so many uses of this simple circular object wheel. It is used in trains, planes, in the equipment of farm and factory, in fans or in turbines. Okay. So the wheel is very important as there are so many uses of this single wheel. So it can be said that it is very much important for us. We cannot imagine modern life without wheels. And further, the passage declares that our modern life is incomplete without this wheel. But do you know exactly who made the first wheel? The passage ends with a question whether we know the invention history of this wheel, whether we know who has made the first wheel. Okay. Now what you have to do is you have to open page number 107 or 107, which is the lesson 2 titled as The History of the Wheel, to know further about the wheel. Okay. I'm sure you have opened the page number 107. And from that lesson, I have also added 2 or 3 points here from which you can identify the exact history. Okay. So before starting, I would like to say you something that lesson 2 is a dialogue between an English teacher and student. Okay. In this lesson, we will get 2 characters. One is Mr. Ramesh, who is an English teacher. Another is Rubina, who is a student. Okay. So the passage starts with the question of Mr. Ramesh. You know that the invention of the wheel has helped to create a new civilization. So Mr. Ramesh is saying that the invention of the wheel has created something new for the entire world. And he says that, but do you know who first used wheels? Now he is asking the question whether the students know who has used the wheels first. Rubina now, as student, is replying that no teacher, that she has no idea. But I guess it may be the Greeks. But she has an assumption and she says that Greeks can use the wheel for the first time, as Greeks are the pioneers of many things. So she is assuming that the wheel can be used by Greeks for the first time. Mr. Ramesh, the Greeks were pioneer in many things, but in this case, however, the Mesopotamians were the first. As I have said that, the Mr. Ramesh is also saying the same, that Greeks have created or have discovered many things for the first time. They are the pioneers. But in the case of wheel, Mesopotamians were the first one. The oldest ever wheel was discovered in Mesopotamia. It means the oldest, the first wheel was discovered in Mesopotamia. It was in 3500 BC. Okay, so this is the time. Rubina now is asking, where is Mesopotamia? So the question is, where is this place? Now the teacher is replying that, well, Mesopotamia was in ancient Greek. Sorry, not Greek, in ancient Iraq. It means Mesopotamia is a place of Iraq. It was along the valley of the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. So it is in the valley, along with the valley of Tigris and another river, Euphrates. Okay. After the Mesopotamians, the wheel was further improved by the Egyptians. They first made wheels with spokes. Then they used them on chariots around 2000 BC. So after Mesopotamians, an ancient place of Iraq, the wheel was further improved or developed by the Egyptians. And they also used these spoke wheels in chariots. Well, chariot is a type of traveling car. Okay. Now, Rubina is asking a question. So the wheel traveled to Egypt from Mesopotamia. Now, Rubina is clarifying the history again, that the wheel has traveled from Mesopotamia to Egypt. Mr. Ramesh, exactly. But it traveled eastwards too. So the teacher is replying that yes, it has traveled, and it has traveled in other places as well. Wheels reached the Indus Valley by 3000 BC, but chariots with spoke wheels were made in ancient India in around 1500 BC. They were used for war, hunting, and racing. So Mr. Ramesh is again adding more information about the wheels. Okay, now Rubina is asking a question again. What about the Greeks, teacher? Didn't they use wheels? Okay, so it seems like Rubina has more interest in Greeks. Okay, so finally she is asking that wheels are used by the Mesopotamians, the ancient Indians, the Egyptians. But what about the Greeks? Okay, so finally Mr. Ramesh is talking now about the Greeks. They definitely did. In 1500 BC, the Greeks too learned the idea of wheel making from the Egyptians. So Greeks have collected or gained the idea of wheels from Egyptians, not from Mesopotamians, not from ancient Indians. Okay, so they have gathered the idea from Egyptians. They also made further improvements on it. Again, the Greeks have made changes, they have improved, they have developed the mechanism of these wheels. Later, the Romans did the same too. After Greeks, the Roman also did the same thing. It means they have also improved in wheels and produced a variety of wheeled vehicles. Now, finally, the Romans, they have improved the techniques of wheel. Again, they have made a variety of vehicles using the wheels. Okay, so this is the ultimate history of wheels. It was invented in Mesopotamia and it was finally developed for the modern civilization by the Romans. I'm sure you all will read the passage again and watch my class again. Then you will be enough clear about the history of wheel, how it is important for us, why we need to know about wheel, how we are using these wheels, etc. So after this, what you have to do is you have to complete a homework. And the homework is not very tough for you, I'm pretty sure. What you have to do is from the page number 106, you have to answer the questions and it must be from the textbook. Okay. And again, you have to follow the textbook for page number 108 and you have to answer the practice number C. Okay. And finally, what you have to do is you have to write a formal email to your headmaster for early leave from school. I'm sure my dear students will complete all these homeworks as soon as they can. Till our next class, have a good time. Please read at all these subjects at home, stay at home and be safe. Thank you so much for your patience.